Hello, fellow snobs. Today I thought I would speak to you about something a little bit different. The Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America recently announced this year's Damon Knight Grand Master Award. This is the award for 2021. This year, Nalo Hopkinson was honored. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Now, if you've been following science fiction, you know that recently, especially in the literary science fiction world, there has been charges that science fiction awards have been given out not for quality, but for various immutable characteristics that the writer has. As a visitor from the far future, and knowing that nothing that you people do matters, I am an objective judge of whether that this person deserves this award or not. I will evaluate this latest recipient of the award using your own cultural standards. I will evaluate this latest recipient's work against another science fiction writer, assign points, and then you can judge at the end who has the most points and whether or not she is a worthy recipient for this award. Let me just read here from the wiki. The Damon Knight Memorial Grandmaster Award is a lifetime honor presented annually by the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America to no more than one living writer of fantasy or science fiction. It was inaugurated in 1975 when Heinlein was made the first Grandmaster and was renamed in 2002 after the association's founder. So the award it's kind of like a Lifetime Achievement Award. It's the same sort of thing. So there's a joke in Hollywood where they also give out Lifetime Achievement Awards at the Oscars. The joke in Hollywood is that you don't want to get that award because it signals that your career is already over. So it's normally given to people who are at the end of their career, and it recognizes a lifetime of work in that field. So let's look at some of the past winners of the awards. Of course, Heinlein was the first. Some very famous names: L. Sprague de Camp, Fritz Leiber, Arthur C. Clarke, Asimov, Alfred Bester, Bradbury, Lester Del Rey, Frederick Pohl. Man, oh man, lots of names. Paul Anderson, Philip Jose Farmer, Brian Aldiss, Ursula K. Le Guin, Silverberg, McCaffrey, Ellison, Moorcock, Halderman. Wow, this is a who's who of science fiction. Larry Niven, William Gibson, Lois McMaster Bujold. I haven't read any of her stuff, but I know of her name. Wow, that is quite a number of famous science fiction writers, a very esteemed group to belong to. So let's talk about our next year's recipient, Nalo Hopkinson. And I'm going to pick somebody to go against her. And I think this person would be a very good choice, good consideration for the award. Ben Bova. As of this writing, he recently passed away just a few days ago. So it's kind of timely. So let's look at Ms. Hopkinson. She's 59. Just as a note, before this, the youngest recipient of the award was age 66. So she is the youngest person to get this award by 7 years. So that's quite an achievement. Ben Bova, of course, recently passed away at the age of 88. So let's look at when they were first published and how long they've been working in this field. So Ms. Hopkinson first published in 1998, so that's 22 years that she's been working in science fiction and writing. Mr. Bova first published in, it was a little difficult finding this, but the earliest I could find was 1967, might be earlier. So 53 years. Wow, that's quite a long time. That's more than half of his entire life, significantly more. So with this, I have to give it to him. So we'll give Mr. Bova 1 point for that. So that's good. 1 point. Let's look at next. Let's look at how much they've published. So Miss Hopkinson 6 short novels, and she's published, and 3 short collections of a collection of her shorter works. So that's good. That's 6 more novels than I have. So good for her. Mr. Bova, over 125 novels. There's actually more, but I got tired of counting after that. So I think I have to give the slight advantage to him. So I'll give him a point for that. So it's 2 points to 0. Now, what about editing? In Miss Hopkinson's bio, talks about she's done quite a lot of editing. So let's compare that. So she's edited 5 anthologies. That's pretty good. And she's the editor of Lightspeed magazine. Never heard of it. Mr. Bova, he's edited 7 anthologies. Oh, 2 more. He is the editor of Analog. He was the editor of Analog, Science, Fact, and Fiction. Well, I have heard of that magazine. Oh, and it also says that he won a number of 6 Hugo Awards for Best Professional Editor when he worked at Analog. That's pretty good. 6 Hugos, and that was back when the Hugo actually meant something. So that's pretty good. I'll give 1 point for editing, and that goes to Mr. Bova. Okay, so those are their main... Oh, one more thing. Ben Bova was past president of the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Association of America. So I'll give him a total of, we'll give him a half point for that. So these 3 main areas, it looks like Mr. Bova gets 1 point each. So he's got 3.5 points, including his bonus for being past president. And Miss Hopkinson's has 0 so far. So let's finish off. So our last little point. Miss Hopkinson is a woman and a person of color. That's plus 100 for each, 200 points. And Ben Bova is a man and he's white. So that is minus 100 points. So as we can all see, it's perfectly obvious. Miss Hopkinson has a score of 200. And Ben Bova with minus 196.5. The winner is Miss Hopkinson's. Obviously, well more qualified to be a Grandmaster this year than Ben Bova is. That's a difference of about 396.5 points. Huge, huge difference. So there you have it. My assessment of this year's recipient of the Grandmaster Award, all done from a neutral perspective and using your own cultural standards. Please feel free to comment on the cultural standards that I use to assess this year's recipient of the Grandmaster Award, and don't forget to like and subscribe and all that other stuff. See you next time.